All right, let's take a look at activity or unit 4, solving equations mixed review. This is going to have you reviewing activities 1 through 6. So you may need to go back and use your resources if you get stuck on those. Piece of advice number 1, find your equal sign. Okay. Piece of advice number 2, in your mind, decide which numbers are triangles and which numbers are squares. We always remember the numbers with the variable represent our triangle numbers. So the 6i and the 4i are triangles. That means this plus 10 is a square. This looks like it's a two-step equation, and in some ways it is, but it's not a traditional one. Normally, we want to take off the square number. So everybody wants to jump to doing minus 10, but there's no square number on the left side. So I can't take off 10. Instead, I've got triangles on both sides of my equal sign. So I'm going to take off a triangle number. I'm going to take off the smaller one, the 4. So minus 4i on the left, minus 4i on the right. 6i minus 4i gives us 2 i's. Bring down my 10 because it didn't change. Now I've got something that you should be like, oh yeah, I already know this answer. Last step, this means 2 times I. So to solve it, divide both sides by 2. I equals 5. Yep. Let's take a look at slide 2. Again, find your equal sign. 8, square number or triangle number? Hopefully you put a square around it. 6i, triangle. 10i, triangle. 4 is a square number, but pay attention. In front of that 4 is a negative, yes. So you can decide how you want to do this. You can take off triangles or squares since I have both on both sides. I always get my triangles on one side first. That's just me, but you can do the squares first. It's up to you. We'll get the same answer. I'm going to take off triangles. On the left side, I've got 6. On the right side, I got 10. So I'm going to take off the 6. So I'm going to do minus 6i. These are gone. I'm left with my 8. 10i minus 6i gives me 4 i's. And then I bring down my minus 4. Now, my people that like order, you can take off this equals 8 and put it on the other side if you choose. I'm going to solve it the way it is just to show you don't always have to, but if your brain needs to have that 8 on the right side, move it. The next thing I'm going to take off, if you need to remind yourself, squares and triangles, the next thing to take off would be this minus 4. It's already subtracting, so I cannot subtract it again. Instead, I need to inverse that with plus 4. If I add 4 to the right, I have to add 4 to the left. These go to 0. So I'm left with 4i is equal to 12. Now, again, this means 4 times I. So the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I should get 3. Yep, good job. All right, I want to do one more example with you, and I'm going to jump back to slide 5 just to review. So we're going to jump over to slide 5. If you remember when we did distributive property, we talked about the groups. This number in front tells you how many groups. So the number in front's 3, so I actually have 3 groups. And what's inside each group is what's inside the parentheses. So inside each group, I have an I plus 6. Now, to make this a little bit user-friendly, I still have my equals 36, but now I'm going to recollect. I'm going to reclaim, I'm going to regroup. I'm going to put the i's together. How many i's do I have? Well, 1, 2, 3. I have 3 i's. Now I'm going to put the 6's together. They're all positive. So 6, 12, 18 equals 36. I would not do 3 of the 36's because the 36 is not inside the parentheses. Now I've got a two-step equation. How do I solve it? Well, what am I going to take off? I'm going to undo the 18 with a minus. Take those off. 3i equals 36 minus 18. If you need to double check your mental math, should be 18. Last step, divide by 3. Should be 6. Yay! So use your resources. Go back and look at the other activities if you need them. Happy solving!